Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. My name is Jason, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Julia. Today, we are going to talk about something that can completely change your life, your mindset, and even your English-speaking journey, and that is self-control.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited about today's topic because self-control is something we all struggle with sometimes. Maybe you want to stay calm when you are angry. Maybe you want to stop procrastinating. Or maybe you simply want the discipline to practice English every single day. Self-control is connected to almost every part of our lives.
Exactly, Julia. And the interesting thing is that self-control is not only important in life, but it is also a very common topic in English conversations. People often talk about controlling emotions, staying patient, avoiding bad habits, managing stress, and making smart decisions. So today, we are not only learning life lessons, but we are also learning how to speak about these ideas naturally in English.
That's right. And don't worry if your English is not perfect yet. This podcast is designed especially for English learners, so we will use simple, clear, and natural English that you can understand and practice easily.
Today, you will learn useful vocabulary, powerful expressions, real-life conversation examples, and practical speaking tips that will help you talk confidently about self-control in English. So wherever you are right now, relaxing at home, walking outside, studying, or drinking a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy today's episode with us.
Let's get started.
All right, Julia, let's start with a very important question. What exactly is self-control?
That's a great question, Jason. In simple words, self-control means controlling your emotions, actions, and decisions instead of reacting too quickly. It means staying calm, thinking carefully, and making smart choices even when something is difficult or emotional.
Exactly. Self-control is like having power over yourself. For example, imagine someone says something rude to you. Maybe you feel angry inside, but instead of shouting or reacting immediately, you stay calm and think before you speak. That is self-control.
Yes, and self-control is not only about anger, it can also be about habits, discipline, and focus. For example, maybe you want to improve your English, but you feel lazy sometimes. Self-control helps you continue practicing even when you don't feel motivated.
That's so true. Many successful people are not successful because they are perfect. They are successful because they can control distractions, manage emotions, and stay focused on their goals.
And honestly, self-control is something everybody struggles with. Sometimes we eat unhealthy food even when we know it's bad for us. Sometimes we waste time on social media instead of studying. Sometimes we react emotionally and later regret our words.
Exactly, Julia. That's why learning self-control is very important. And in English conversations, there are many useful expressions people use when talking about this topic.
Right. Let's teach our listeners some useful English phrases they can start using today.
One common phrase is, "I'm trying to control myself." People use this when they are angry, emotional, or tempted to do something bad.
Another useful expression is stay calm. This is a very common phrase in English. People say it during stressful or emotional situations.
You can also say, "Think before you speak." This means you should carefully consider your words before saying something emotional or hurtful.
And here's another great one. Don't react too quickly. Sometimes our emotions become stronger than our logic, and this expression reminds us to slow down and think carefully.
I also really like the phrase, Take a deep breath. It sounds simple, but it's powerful advice when someone feels stressed, nervous, or angry.
Absolutely. Self-control is really about patience, awareness, and making better decisions little by little every day.
And remember, listeners, nobody has perfect self-control all the time. It's a skill you build slowly with practice, just like learning English.
Exactly. The more you practice controlling your emotions and habits, the stronger and more confident you become.
Now that we understand what self-control means, let's talk about something really important. Why is self-control so important for success?
Honestly, Jason, I think self-control is one of the biggest differences between people who achieve their goals and people who give up too quickly. Success is not only about talent or intelligence, it's also about discipline, patience, and consistency.
That is so true. Many people start something with excitement, but after a few days, they lose motivation. Maybe they want to learn English, go to the gym, read books, or improve their lives. But when things become difficult, they stop trying.
Exactly. But people with strong self-control continue even when they feel tired, stressed, or discouraged. They understand that success does not happen overnight. Small daily actions create big results over time.
I really love that idea. Small daily discipline creates big success. Even practicing English for just 20 or 30 minutes every day can completely change your speaking skills after a few months.
Yes, and self-control also helps people make better decisions. For example, when someone controls their emotions, they avoid unnecessary arguments and problems. They think carefully before reacting.
That's very important. Sometimes one emotional reaction can damage a friendship, a relationship, or even an opportunity. But when you stay calm and think clearly, you make wiser choices.
And let's be honest, life is full of distractions. Social media, laziness, fear, overthinking, and bad habits can easily stop people from reaching their goals. Self-control helps you stay focused even when distractions are everywhere.
Exactly. And this is especially true for English learners. Many learners feel frustrated because they don't become fluent quickly. Some people compare themselves to others and lose confidence.
But successful learners understand something important. Progress takes time. They continue practicing even when they make mistakes. They control negative thoughts and keep moving forward.
That's such a powerful mindset. People who control their emotions usually become stronger mentally and emotionally. They don't quit easily when life becomes difficult.
And honestly, self-control is like a superpower. It helps you stay calm under pressure, avoid bad habits, build confidence, and create a better future step by step.
Absolutely. If you can control your emotions, your habits, and your daily actions, you can improve almost every area of your life.
So listeners, remember this. You do not need to become perfect overnight. Just focus on improving little by little every day. Small improvements with strong self-control can lead to amazing success in the future.
All right, everyone. Now it's time for the practical speaking section of today's episode. In this part, we're going to show you how native English speakers naturally talk about self-control in everyday conversations.
Yes, this section is very important because sometimes English learners understand vocabulary, but they don't know how to use it naturally in real-life situations. So today, we'll practice together with simple and useful examples.
Let's start with a common situation talking about anger and emotions. For example, imagine your friend asks you, "Why were you so quiet during the argument?" You could answer, "I was trying to control myself and stay calm."
That sounds very natural. You can also say, I didn't want to react too quickly. This expression is great when you want to explain that you were thinking carefully before speaking.
Exactly. Now let's talk about studying and discipline. Maybe someone asks you, how do you practice English every day? You could say, I'm trying to build self-discipline and better habits.
Or you can say, even when I feel tired, I push myself to keep learning. That's a powerful and motivational sentence.
Now, let's move to another situation. Distractions. Many people struggle with distractions while studying or working. A very natural sentence is, I'm trying to stay focused and avoid distractions.
Yes. And here's another useful expression. Sometimes I lose control of my schedule because I waste too much time on social media.
That's very relatable for many people. Now let's talk about healthy habits. For example, if someone is trying to eat healthier, they might say, I'm learning to control my cravings and make healthier choices.
Or maybe, I'm working on my patience and self-control little by little. I really like this sentence because it sounds honest, natural, and positive.
Absolutely. And listeners, here's something very important. When you talk about self-control in English, you don't need difficult vocabulary. Simple sentences spoken clearly and confidently are much more powerful.
That's right. Try practicing these expressions every day. Speak them out loud, repeat them slowly, and use them in your real conversations.
Because the more you practice talking about emotions, discipline, and personal growth in English, the more natural and confident your speaking will become.
Exactly. English fluency is not only about grammar, it's also about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and experiences naturally and confidently.
Julia, can I be honest about something? Lately, I've been feeling really stressed and frustrated. I've been trying to balance work, learning new skills, and practicing English every day. But sometimes I feel emotionally exhausted. Small problems make me angry very quickly. And honestly, I feel like I'm losing control of my emotions sometimes.
I completely understand how you feel, Jason. A lot of people experience that, especially when life becomes busy and overwhelming. But the good thing is that you are aware of your emotions, and that's the first step toward better self-control.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes I react too quickly before thinking carefully, and later I regret the things I said.
That happens to many people. But one important thing to remember is this: don't let your emotions control your decisions. When you feel stressed or angry, try to pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and calm yourself before speaking.
Honestly, that sounds like really good advice. I think I need to become more patient and stop overreacting to small problems.
Exactly. Self-control doesn't mean hiding your emotions. It means understanding them and responding in a smarter and calmer way. You can still express your feelings, but you should try not to let anger or stress control your behavior.
I like that perspective. I guess self-control is something people build slowly over time, just like confidence.
Absolutely. Nobody becomes perfectly calm overnight. It takes daily practice, patience, and self-awareness. And remember, difficult moments are temporary. You are stronger than your stress.
Thank you, Julia. I honestly feel calmer already. I think sometimes people just need encouragement and a reminder to focus on solutions instead of problems.
Exactly. And listeners, remember this too. Whenever life feels difficult, try to stay calm, think clearly, and believe in yourself. You can handle challenges much better when your mind is peaceful and focused.
All right, everyone. Now let's talk about some common mistakes English learners make when they try to talk about emotions, self-control, and personal growth in English.
Yes, and one very common mistake is translating directly from your native language into English. Sometimes learners create sentences that sound unnatural because they are thinking in their own language first, instead of thinking in simple English.
Exactly. That's why it's better to learn natural English expressions like stay calm, I'm trying to control myself, or I need more self-discipline, instead of translating word by word.
Another common mistake is speaking too fast when feeling emotional or nervous. Many learners panic and try to speak quickly, but fast speaking often creates more mistakes and confusion.
That's very true. Speaking slowly and clearly actually makes you sound more confident and natural. Native speakers also slow down when they want to express important emotions or serious thoughts.
And another mistake is being afraid to express feelings in English. Some learners know grammar and vocabulary, but they avoid emotional conversations because they lack confidence.
But remember, confidence grows with practice. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. The more you practice speaking about your thoughts and emotions, the more natural your English will become.
Exactly. Practice a few emotional expressions every day, listen to English conversations regularly, and slowly you will become more comfortable expressing yourself in English.
Before we finish today's episode, we want to leave you with an important message. Learning English is not only about vocabulary, grammar, or pronunciation. It's also about mindset, patience, and self-control.
Exactly. Many people quit learning English because they become frustrated too quickly. They compare themselves to others, focus too much on mistakes, or expect fast results. But real progress happens slowly, step by step, day by day.
And honestly, one of the greatest forms of self-control is continuing to practice even when you feel tired, discouraged, or unmotivated. Successful learners are not always the smartest people, they are often the most consistent people.
That's such a powerful point. Every single day you practice English, even for a short time, you are improving yourself. Small efforts may feel invisible today, but over time they create huge changes.
So don't let fear control you. Don't let mistakes stop you from speaking. Mistakes are a natural part of learning, and every confident English speaker was once a beginner too.
Believe in your progress, stay patient with yourself, and keep moving forward. Confidence grows through action, practice, and experience.
Remember this, listeners. Control your fear, control your excuses, and keep speaking English with confidence.
Because your future becomes stronger every time you choose discipline over giving up.
All right, everyone, let's quickly review what we learned in today's episode. We talked about what self-control means, why it is important for success, and how you can talk about self-control naturally in English conversations.
Yes, today you learned useful expressions like stay calm, think before you speak, I'm trying to control myself, and I'm working on my self-discipline. These are simple but powerful phrases you can use in real life.
We also learned that self-control helps you manage emotions, avoid distractions, build better habits, and stay focused on your goals, especially when learning English.
And remember, progress takes time. Don't pressure yourself to become perfect overnight. Practice speaking English a little every day, stay patient with yourself, and never stop improving.
Exactly. Stay calm, stay confident, and keep believing in your growth journey.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you learned useful English expressions and valuable lessons about self-control.
And now, we want to hear from you. What does self-control mean to you? Write your thoughts or your favorite sentence from today's episode in the comments below.
Don't forget to practice these expressions in your daily conversations and continue improving your English step by step.
Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this podcast with your friends for more English learning episodes every week.
Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself, stay confident, and see you in the next episode.